Hi, today I'd like to talk about why self improvement is ruining your life. Surely self improvement is the need of the hour. Everybody's in self improvement these days. How possibly could self improvement be bad for you? How could it not be good for you? Well, the thing is that we have to understand with self improvement is how you look upon it. People can be well wishers, they can wish well in life, and yet they can go the wrong way about things. A parent who's too strict, perhaps, on their kids could mean well, but in a way end up driving the kids in the wrong direction. And the very same thing can happen with self development uh, if we go at it the wrong way. What is the wrong way for self development? Well, I think there's two ways of looking at self development and self improvement. One way of looking at self development and self improvement is uh, seeing the inherent worth in the person, appreciating the inherent worth of the person, believing that a person has a destiny, as it were, and working towards the fulfillment of that person's destiny. Very much in the idea of Michelangelo when he was asked about how he makes a statue of David and other statues. And he said that I don't build a statue, I remove the external rock. I see the statue within the rock and I remove everything until I find the statue. So, this is one philosophy. This is one way of looking at self improvement. But the other way of looking at self improvement is more competitive. The other way of looking at self improvement is I'm going to make a man out of you, that kind of approach. I'm going to make you better. I'm going to make myself better. I'm going to look at all the people around me and I'm going to copy all the best traits, all the best things that they have. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to use them. I'm going to apply them myself to become a bigger success in life. And the difference is between attributelessness and attributes. The second one I'm giving you here is based upon attributes. I want X, Y, Z attributes and I'm going to get them. And there's some inherent challenges in that, you see. The first of all problem we have is transactionalism. When we look at ourselves as having infinite potential, when we look at ourselves as that what we have is all that we need, and what we need to do is unearth who we really are. We don't really need to change. We need to find ourselves. This gives you an infinite potential, okay? But when we start looking at, I lack this attribute, I'll be okay when I get that attribute. I lack this attribute, I'll be okay when I get that attribute. The problem is we limit ourselves. So, for example, let's say the relationship between a parent and a child. Uh, the ideal relationship between a parent and a child is the parent will do everything they can to help the child. And if the parent asks anything of that child, the child, well, let's say when that child is a teenager or a young person in their 20s, the child won't think twice about, if the mom, dad wants a meal, you give them a meal. If they want to use your car, you give use of your car, etc. If the relationship stays on this level, that the child never clarifies anything, never seeks to turn the relationship with the parent into a transactional relationship, then in a way the relationship between themselves and their parent is basically a kind of an infinite possibility relationship. Anything is possible. You don't ask or clarify or say, mom, you can't have this, dad, you can't have that. Okay? You should be ideally looking after your parents, and your parents should be looking after you. And this goes for your wife, your husband, your kids. There shouldn't be transactionalism in intimate relationships. You should just ideally look after the person you love, and they should look after you, and you shouldn't think twice about it. The moment you put transactionalism into a relationship, you limit it because you bring it back down to the finite, back down to the transactions. And this is the first problem we have when we look outside ourselves and we see what we lack and we try and fix it. That immediately says, I am not enough. I do not have enough. And the problem with that, if we think of from, say, a point of view of the law of attraction, for example, is as long as I don't believe I have enough, I don't have enough. It's like this thing many years ago. I went to a bar with a workmate and he said to me very earnestly, all I want is to be happy. And it struck me that people are always saying to me, I just want to be happy. I don't want money, success. I just want to be happy. And the thing that struck me about this is that it's based in the future tense. I want to be. And when you say that to your subconscious mind, it's I'm not happy, I want to be happy. And your subconscious mind will forever pursue trying to be happy, but will never really be happy. So your subconscious mind is quite literal. And if you have the approach that you're lacking an attribute, if only you could fix an attribute, what you're actually saying to your subconscious mind is, I don't have enough. I can't have enough. There'll always be another hill, there'll always be another valley. And this is the inherent problem, I think, with the first kind, and what we see with most kinds of self-improvement and self-development, is saying, I don't have enough, and if only I could fix myself, I'll be better. But the reality is, it's like these people who go in for cosmetic surgery. They have one little surgery in their nose. 55 surgeries later, they're still working on themselves. Why? Because inherently they don't accept themselves. I'll give you another variation here. Say, for example, we're talking about the law of attraction. You can't talk self-development these days without talking law of attraction. So if you look at the law of attraction, for example, where a lot of law of attraction people go wrong is they take responsibility for their life. It sounds great. I mean, I'm responsible for my life. It's fantastic. That's the way to go. Stop playing the victim. That's the way to go. But what they do then is, when things don't go their way, when they don't become the big success that they want to be, they think, I'm doing it wrong somehow. I'm a failure because I didn't do it right. And now I did a video the other day on what's the good life, and I talk in that about dealing with things like failure and so on and so forth a little bit. The basic thing is that failure is a natural part of life, okay? Failure will be present. We learn to walk by falling. We learn to speak by mumbling and so on and so forth. We can't do anything new without to some degree failing at it. So the problem a lot of law of attraction people have is their standards are so high, they expect so much, that when things don't go their way, they feel like a failure. And they judge themselves as a failure because they think that according to all these books and videos and courses they're doing, if only they can will it enough, if only their intent can be enough, if only they could visualize enough and feel it enough, it has to happen. And there's some obvious challenges here. For example, the thing that they tend to be selling people is this idea of you too can be rich and so on and so forth, but everybody on the planet can't be rich. So there's a bit of snake oil stuff going on here. So as long as you're pursuing something and judging yourself when you fail it, then you're holding yourself back. And this is the mistake a lot of people make. So the first mistake people are making with self-development is thinking that I'm not good enough and I have to change. And if only I could change enough, I'd be right. But there's no end to changing because you'll never be quite happy with what you get, because your whole thinking pattern is, if only I can change something. In the future, at some stage, you'll be right. So their thinking is wrong. The second thing is judging the hell out of yourself when things don't go your way. So a lot of self-development is based upon desperation. The idea or feeling, if I could just fix myself, I'd be better. If I could just do this, I can get a relationship I want. If I could just do that, I'll look the way I want. And it's kind of a desperate kind of thing. And then when things don't go the way you want them to go, then there's terrible judgmentalism about it, okay? So I think that self-development is ruining your life if you're transactional, that you're limiting your life to and your relationships to transactions, that you're focusing on attributes all the time and trying to gain attributes, that you're trying to live in the future, and that you're judging yourselves when things don't go that way. If you want to be happy, and if you want to grow and develop as a human being, you must accept certain things. First of all, you must accept yourself as you are. And the other thing, which took me a long time to learn, which I think is very powerful, is in realizing that I'm fine as I am and I don't really need to change. And that sounds paradoxical, but surely the whole idea of self-development is change. No, the idea of self-development is learning to accept yourself as you are and being happy as you are. And then certain aspects of your life which are not working, you work on those issues to improve them. But the very nature of humanity you must accept. And the nature of your humanity is that every human being is flawed. And on some level, every human being is a failure. So as long as you're trying to be some perfect human being, you can never be happy. You can never be happy because you can't be perfect. You can never be happy because it's always pushing something into the future. So we have to learn to say, I am perfect as I am now. I was born perfect. I am perfect. I just need to find myself and be myself, which externally will have some imperfections. No personality is perfect. No person is perfect. But there's like... there's a Grace Jones song once, one of the lyrics was, I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect for you. That was a great lyric for a song because, it's about what works for you rather than trying to be something perfect. So as long as you're trying to have the perfect smile, the perfect love, we're full of this world of this. Look at social media of people trying to look perfect, act perfect, be perfect. And what is it? I mean, this is transactionalism. You're reducing yourself by comparing yourself. Again, the story we think of as a child, the ugly duckling. You probably remember the story that this duck was white and the others were all black, and everybody thought he was bad. And then one day he discovered that he's actually not a duck. He's actually a swan. Okay, he's actually very beautiful. So it's like that. We're judging ourselves by our transactionism. We're reducing ourselves rather than boosting ourselves. Failure is natural. You can only learn through failure. And the biggest thing, like I said, is learning to accept that you don't really have to be different. You don't really have to change. You need to change some aspects of yourself, but ultimately you must accept yourself as you are. Learn to love yourself as you are. Be happy as you are. And open up to the possibility, say if you believe in, say, spirituality, that there's a life destiny, that God has put you on this planet for a reason, that you have a life destiny in being here, and you need to fulfill that destiny. Fulfilling that destiny doesn't mean being perfect. And it doesn't mean criticizing yourself when you fail. It means trying to do the best you can, trying to fulfill who you really are, find out what your life purpose is, and live your life purpose as best you can. Realizing that failure at some degree is inevitable. Ultimately, all human life ends in failure. We all die. And enjoying that process. Like I was talking in the other video the other day about the good life is enjoying the process. The process in itself is part of the journey and having a psychologically rich life. So this is how self-development can ruin you, and this is how self-development can make you. If you're not happy with your self-development journey, take a look at those things. Am I trying to become something I'm not? Am I trying to be perfectionistic? Am I being too judgmental? Or am I trying to be myself and love myself and accept myself and become the best that I can be, and not judging others and not worrying about failure and trying to find my life purpose and trying my best to exhibit that in my life? And if you're doing that, you'll find it's good. If your self-development journey is going the right direction, you'll be embracing yourself, embracing the journey, and working through your issues and growing as a person. It should not be full of bitter resentment and all that junk, okay? Get off the transactional wagon, get off the judgmental wagon, and get with the self-acceptance train instead. And that's the better way forward. If you do this, then it's a wonderful journey. The best journey is one that has no preconceptions. Then every new event on that journey is its own unique and amazing adventure. Hope you like that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.